When people approach me at the range, there's usually one reason. For some reason, I'm the only person on the range with a Hex Key set. Now, I'm all for lending and borrowing and stuff, and that's pretty much what a club is for, but I'm often dazzled by how much easier it is to have your own set of tools and your spare parts. So in this video, we'll be looking at a few things that you should be carrying in your kit just to make life easier. Let's start with Hex Keys. These are used for most pieces of archery equipment, including your sight, plunger and riser. Most of them use a small range of imperial measurements. Depending on the item, it may or may not come with its own wrenches. Even if it does, it quickly becomes clumsy to carry so many separate wrenches. You can get a set of hex wrenches from your hardware store, either as a kit or as a multi-tool. You can also buy an archery specific tool, like this Eastern Hex Wrench from pro shops, which contain the most commonly used wrench sizes. Since you will often be making adjustments, this tool is a must to have on you at all times. In fact, I carry several single wrenches in case I need to use two at once. On the same note, a screwdriver is pretty handy in general. Some bits of equipment use regular screws. Again, you can carry individual screwdrivers or multi-tool, which you can get from your local hardware store. Household items such as scissors, tape, and double-sided tape are also useful to have in your bag. It's amazing to see how many people go through the regular hassle of having to look for something like these instead of bringing their own. Spare screws isn't a bad idea. Things do come out at times, especially if you're not constantly checking your bow for rattling. I carry a handful of spare arrow rests. These plastic Hoyt super rests only cost a few dollars, but can last thousands of arrows. I have incredibly bad luck with rests. My win rest snapped pretty early, and my Shibuya rest didn't stick on properly and it flew off on the first shot. I've seen people break their rest on the line and suddenly they can't shoot anymore. Having a couple of these in your bag isn't a bad idea. They only cost a few bucks and you can get your bow back into action immediately. Bowstring wax is essential. A lot of new archers don't have wax and often don't know what it does. Dry strings can become stiff and become frayed easily. A stick only costs a few dollars, so keep one in your pouch. Then there are various other tools you may need. Here I have Eastern pliers, but any pair of pliers will do. Spare vanes and a bottle of glue, such as Fletch Tight, can get your arrows back into action in case you need to repair vanes or knocks. A lighter and a block of glue are needed for replacing inserts and points. I use Cool Melt, which has a much lower melting point, making it easier to do a quick field repair without having to use a blowtorch. And there are lots of other things which you may want to put in your bag. Personally, I carry a spare shoelace, just in case I need to make another finger sling. Point being, however, is that you should seriously look at your inventory and see what you are missing. If you find yourself borrowing things most of the time, this may be a precaution for you to start carrying your own tools and spare parts, because you can't always ask people, especially when you're on the line and you're competing. And the number one annoyance with people borrowing things is when they don't give it back. So, do yourself a favor, next time you do an order for archery supplies, do a quick check as to what you might need and get it yourself. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.